No sound, bro? Thanks, brother. I'm trying to figure this out. How about now? Enjoy. Sorry, that's where I lost it last time, too. Nope, 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 nope. Why? Why? So brutal. Brutal death metal. Cenotaph from Mexico. Sorry, they got chopped again. God damn. This guy can't even do a podcast properly. But I'll try my best. If I could get good sound like that again, that'd be dope. Thanks for anyone who tuned in. This is actually kind of part 2 of what we were doing. So let's try this other song. Just take some Secco. Straight from Finland. Can you hear it? Technology's whack. Sad. Sad day for metal. I gotta bring some actual different chords into my world because I had a few little exclusives there. I think one of them was playing a little at some point. That was odd that it just cuts off, and it's playing in a certain media that I have it, so it's not supposed to shut off or anything. But check out, this is Death Metal Podcast. I figured I would share a couple more little rare glimpses into what we have to come as far as death metal, like videos and interviews and stuff I did with bands, and mostly I reached out to bands I liked. I reached out to bands I know. I reached out to just the most, the first most brutal bands that came to my head, basically. So, I wanted to share here and there a little piece of what I was talking to them about. Oh, nope, we don't want that. Let me just move this up in the mix. All right. So, sorry if anybody saw this earlier, but check it out. Immolation. Take a day off from listening over and over and over and over and over again to his tracks since he's at the studio, right?
We can only hope.
Yeah.
For his own good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys ever get used to that? Like where you are really picking apart, like you're tracking and you're recording.
Yeah.
Your whole band is there really listening, right? Is for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
so you kind of hear that little and the one guy's
we definitely we listen with a critical ear for sure, especially during the tracking. I mean, we're all in there listening. With Steve, what we do is we let him go in there and knock it out, and then when he's ready and he's done, we'll come in and we'll check it out, just to listen, to see if there's anything that needs tweaking or anything. But usually he nails it. When we come in to check it out, it's usually done and he's comfortable with it. When we're doing guitars and bass and vocals, we're all sitting in there together, and just kind of, encouraging, everybody to do their, to play as best as they can. And,
right.
You listen back, obviously, with a critical ear to make sure things, are where they need to be. And if they're not, just redo them, so it's
sure.
I mean, we bring like months of practice to the table when we come in here, so it's not like we're unprepared, So it's just a matter of it's always different, when that record button goes on, you just all of a sudden you can't play the parts. It's like a weird thing, So
what about What about this? I'm gonna ask this to Bob too. Like, what about when you go to record, right? Do you find that your speed changes sometimes because you're in the studio?
It's not a speed thing. It's more like what Ross said. You become very aware of every single nuance of your playing once the record button gets hit. So, stuff that's usually easier to play becomes a little more difficult because you're paying almost too close attention. But
that's it.
We've kind of, gotten used to it over the years. So, and we're very comfortable with Paul because we've been recording with him for years now. So, you just kind of go in there and do it. Right now, the way we do it, we go through the song. For the couple of parts need work. You jump in, punch in a couple of parts, and you're done. It's like you just gotta. I think we're a little bit more relaxed now.
Yeah.
But you want.
Did you guys ever feel that way though when you went in the studio, say years and years ago, and you recorded an album or you were recording for something professionally, and then you might have just been, I don't know, maybe either nervous or just played the song just a little faster maybe than normal?
Well, the good thing is now is that we play to a click, so we can't play it faster. So that's everybody plays at the same tempo now. So
gotcha.
Although those tempos change quite often in a song with us, no escaping that click track. So you have to. It keeps you in focus and in time. So that's the key with us. Because you want to be. You don't want to fluctuate too much. You want it to be strong. You want it to be consistent. So that's what we do.
Well, I also want my podcast to be a little bit of a teaching lesson also in a weird way to young metalers out in the world that need to learn maybe some of these things,
Yeah, I mean, learning to play to the metronome is key when you're in the studio. The only album we didn't play to a metronome.
Oh, you're going to have to find out about that one later. Sorry, guys. So, Death Metal Podcast coming back at you a little later in the night. This is part 2 of, I'll play more of that though. I want to try to play some other videos I have actually. We've amassed quite a few. We'll probably throw some music on just so I can cue something up good. So, check this out. Death Metal Podcast, home of bad breaks. Yeah, that was the old stuff, obviously. Live at Escapades in 1988. Show with Revenant and Immolation. I think that was right before my time of seeing them, which is kind of sad because that was not far from my neck of the woods. That's a bugged out time, obviously. That's like someone was commenting, Carl, I believe. That was the real stuff, the original and best Morbid Angel times. I queued in another video, so I am just gonna go buck wild on this because I'm gonna just see if I could just get it in the middle. So for 1 second, you're just gonna see my ugly face. It's gonna be a classic. All right, let's see here. Let's move in with the classic, man. All right, here we go. You ready for this? This is the man.
With SOD, same thing with Nuclear Assault, where we were taking stuff from the hardcore scene and we wanted to have distorted bass. It sounded rad. And
there wasn't one specific like pedal, like Metal Zone or whatever it was at that time.
At the time, the one I had used, like I said, I borrowed Scott's TC Electronics pedal, which was a Danish company. Okay. Years later, Tech 21, a company whose pedal I use to this day, Tech 21 put out something called a Sans Amp. There's a Sans Amp bass pedal and a guitar pedal. I use the guitar pedal, even on the bass player. A lot of the bass players use the bass player pedal, and you get that kind of growl-ish type thing, like Craig from Sick of It All would get you, but you didn't get grinds and feedback like I wanted. So, but getting back to SOD, just use Scott's pedal, and that's why the guitar and bass sound so, tight.
Real crunchy, man. I mean, super crunchy, dude.
Yeah, which is
just curious. I guess, like a combination between whatever amps you're using and obviously. Yeah, nowadays people talk about pedals, like the Swedish sound, the HM2, like.
Well, sure, the HM2 is all good, but if you're playing through, a tiny little practice amp, you're still not going to get what you really need. This, pushing the air, miking it right, all that stuff like that.
So what do you went through a phase too, which I have to, just question you about it, because you went through a phase where like you were in what a lot of us would consider like a thrash metal band, and then you moved towards death metal and grindcore. So when you first were moving that direction, other band members around you, other people you jammed with, were they like confused and like, what the fuck is that? Like, why are you doing that? Laughing about the music, because you just went straight past, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate actually, as far as okay, so with Nuclear Assault, Anthony Bramante, the lead guitarist, and Glenn Evans, the drummer, those dudes were more kind of like from the hard rock scene in the first place. So when they joined Nuclear Assault, we're like, all right, we're going to play fast thrash metal influenced by hardcore. And they were like, okay. And they did a great fucking bang up job. But those dudes weren't they wouldn't sit home and listen to Slayer or anything like that. So then when I start getting into, Napalm Death and stuff like that, they found it a little comical, actually.
Yeah.
And the Napalm Death guys, they'd come backstage at our shows in Birmingham, England, or something. And I remember Glenn, he was cool to them, but he'd say it's a joke. And he'd look at them and go, Napalm Death! And so they had a crazy voice, and they would just kind of laugh and nod and whatever, and then take another beer out of our fridge. But
all right, there we have a little exclusive from the master, Dan Lilker. Obviously, he has a lot of tour stories behind him, chilling with the Napalm Death, I was asking about his pedals on the SOD recording, I guess the album, because, it's one of the, it's such a badass album, brutal. One of the best of its time, I think. So yeah, he was giving the lowdown on some of the pedals, and I figure if I'm gonna do this channel, there's a lot of musicians that probably care about equipment. I think equipment's cool. It's cool to talk about what's used on recordings, just stuff like that, where you recorded, like stuff like that. I think it finds it for interesting talk, especially for fans of the music, so like if you're a fan, you kind of want to know like how was this made, where was this done, and sometimes you don't want to know any of that stuff, but yeah, man, I spoke to Danny, not super long, but I got a way more other cool stuff from him. I'm gonna get to playing some other stuff. Just trying to queue up stuff here. It's a little tricky ride, this game. I appreciate anybody that's checking it out and likes the interviews or whatever. I'm not professional at anything, so obviously I play, the interviews I did myself, but they're not professionally edited or whatever. But yeah. All right, check this out, because since everyone seems like they're talking about this.
This one's for all you posers out there. This one's about drinking lots of handfuls.
2001, we broke up Hemlock in 2001 because after 9/11, our drummer freaked out, wanted to go to Afghanistan and strangle Osama bin Laden with his bare hands. And
is that Tony?
So, yes. So when he left, I'm like, well, dude, that's the rhythm section, you know. Bass
It
player.
seemed like Ravenous was kind of right after that. Was that kind of something going on in the background? You guys were kind of talking, or?
Ravenous was around the same time, actually. We did a few shows, and we did some of the Blasphemy record. That was 2000, because that's around the time I met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that had just been, I forgot whether it was Killjoy or Chris, one of those guys had reached out to me. So, yeah, we're doing this band, man. And Chris always liked my bass tone. That's why I did those comeback Autopsy shows in 2010. He just loves my bass tone. Because, in Severed Survival, Steve is a great bass player, but it's a bit. But, when we played in Norway and I started Service for a Vacant Coffin, it went. Oh, I just spit. I got so excited. That's what it's supposed to sound like. That's the show that Nocturnal Culto from Darkthrone cried at.
You made him cry.
Not because anybody stepped on his foot. He was just overly moved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of that early, I guess what you consider like the second Darkthrone record, that Goat Lord or something. That reminds me a lot of Autopsy. That's like really Autopsy-ish,
Yeah, all that
not vocally so much, but like musically. I heard it without the vocals first, and I was like, wow, this is like started to step away from the Soulside Journey and go into it like an Autopsy zone kind of. And then they changed it a little bit again, but obviously they've always kept certain roots, Darkthrone through certain, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Soulside sounds like Autopsy and Entombed, and then Goat Lord. You kind of lose the Entombed part, and it's.
You're right. Bring a
Then
little Celtic Frost in.
We discovered fucking Bathory, and then there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, with Killjoy, and I saw also you were wearing a Necrophagia shirt back in like '86 or whatever it looked like. So, I mean, obviously you were friends with Killjoy through the mail, same deal.
Yeah, Nuclear Assault would play like Pittsburgh or Cleveland. I think Cleveland. He was closer to Cleveland. And yeah, he would come out, and I think I'd already known who he was because, God, do you remember Intense Mutilation?
Yeah.
They were in touch with him, and oh God, I'm trying to think what fucking funny band I was in that was just making noise, but whatever. We were on the same tape with Intense Mutilation, might have been the Craft Society, as Necrophagia, and they had the song Green Shit. So when Nuclear Assault played in Cleveland, I think he just came out, hey dude, fucking good, and then again, hey man, here's a shirt. Cool, thanks. Especially when you're on the road. Fresh laundry.
Right. All right, Fresh Laundry. That's what's up. Dan Lilker, the man. Fresh Laundry. So yeah, Death Metal Podcast coming at you on Twitch, coming at you live on Facebook twice tonight, and coming at you on YouTube. Earlier I said Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter. That place is a cesspool, I think. I mean, I would like to use it, but it just seems like, I don't know. So hopefully we don't have too many connection problems tonight. I think the internet is on fire or something. Hopefully everyone is safe. See what else I can queue up here that's a little different. I wanted to play music from something I recorded, but I'm just having a little problem getting the music from the StreamYard. There's a lot of interviews I had done with people. I could probably just throw a random one on and move into it a little bit, and then I think you'll probably like it. night. And then I was like, yo, this is awesome. I gotta go. You know what? I'm gonna go home. I gotta tell Liz about this.
Yeah.
So I go with Liz and we bring Rebecca, and she's in a baby carriage.
Yeah.
And it was Saturday at Chiller. And you know what Saturdays are like there. It was, dude, I was like, whoa. I was like, well, I should have never brought a baby carriage.
No,
but we were so intrigued by like the scene that it didn't even matter. It was like a Woodstock of horror, man.
That's a pretty good way to say it, you know?
Yeah, it was so amazing, dude.
And even those early days, I remember when they had it in Secaucus at that, I didn't even remember the hotel, but there was like you had your main rooms, then you had this hallway going back to a smaller back room. And that hallway would be jam-packed with tables, with people with shirts up on the walls, posters up on the walls. And then I think the fire marshal must have gotten aware that things were a little like Wild West, and they cracked down. But I remember those, those early days being like, I don't want to say punk rock or whatever, but they were very, they had that kind of alive vibe.
Grime, brother.
Yeah, it's true.
Grimy fucking shit.
And then those days at the Rutherford near the Meadowlands, those Saturday night parties were, they've never been the same as those. You know what I mean? What a weird collection of people, Yeah.
Did you find your tastes evolving over time? Because I did. Because I remember when I started, it was VHS, and then I was looking at magazines and stuff. I never collected toys. I still don't. We're just to put this in context a little. I notice a lot of death metal heads like to get involved with like horror movies, and horror collection toys, action toys, horror toys. Some people, their thing is records. Other people's is different hobbies. Somebody might get tattoos. Another guy is like collect shirts. Or he's hunting down like every fanzine. So I try to bring on a variety of guests that'll talk about other stuff. Like I talked to Doc Holocausto about some death metal stuff too. But basically, we have a semi-similar, horror tastes. He is probably over the top as far as a horror aficionado and a Misfits aficionado, as well as everything from the Misfits. So I mean, just talking to people like-minded, I know the guy, he's always been a cool guy. You meet him at the horror convention versus, a death metal show or vice versa. And, just get along with, certain, people and just people in the scene, different scenes. So we'll check out a little more of our interview. And I want to give a shout out to Doc Holocausto. I want to give a shout out to some of the videos that get uploaded occasionally and that I played, because I realized that probably some hard work was put into those. And I'm going to give the exact names of some of those because sometimes I listening to them so much as a fan, I don't even think much about someone ripped this and put it online, But all right, so check it out. Me and Doc Holocausto. And I'm just putting the stream just anywhere here.
Yeah. And
what he was talking about his ideas, though.
Yeah.
His band ideas. His band ideas. Let's get this straight.
Yeah, no, that's for a while there, probably by 1994, just to go down a list. Okay. The one thing that actually happened, I would say, and there's one or two, things, was he wanted me to write a screenplay for him that was going to be his directorial debut. And that came to be Harvest Ritual. Then he wanted me, he had somehow gotten the rights to Last House on Dead End Street. He was going to.
Let's save that one now. We're going to save that
one.
Okay.
All right.
So, you know why I told to save that one? Because I was at the Last House at Dead End Street party with Roger Watkins, and so I figured there would be a time when myself and Doc Holocausto could have a longer discussion. We were talking just about Killjoy again, which the Doc had a good relationship with Killjoy. Those guys were bros. Killjoy also part of the horror movie collection convention stuff, with myself, the Doc, a few other randomized metalheads and gothic freaks, and hanging out with like the lead star of like Friday the 13th or something, or like like stuff like that would happen. Like, it was cool. I remember a good room party where like you had like Will from Mortician, and you had Reggie Bannister was there, and then you had David Hess, all in one room. And I'm there, I'm just like, what is happening right now? Because these guys are crazy. This, you got Phantasm and Last House on the left. and the guy's one of the dude's son, and totally bugged out scenes. I purposely go commandeer the tape player, and I put on some Gut from Germany, because I figure like I want to make the most of this moment, you know what I mean? So I went over and popped on the Assified Pussified 7-inch EP, and just laid back and was just enjoying the moment, Just it's a really surreal scene when you can feel the vibe around you, so bugged out with the horror creepers. So I'm gonna go back and we'll move around in the Dan Loker stream. I'm gonna move backwards a little bit. So check it out. Death Metal Podcast. I appreciate everybody for coming out. This is my part 2 for some weird reason. Yeah. Tapped in with like the UK scene very early on too. Can you talk about that at all? Because I noticed like you have like even this right here, like this is on Peaceville,
Yeah, well, I was friends with Hammy, so.
And then there's also a lot of earache with you. You know what I mean? I see you had a big connection with a lot of the earliest earache bands,
Well, yeah, I think that was, well, for one thing, when Nuclear Assault would tour over in the UK in the late 80s, I had already been friends with these guys just through good old snail mail back in the day. I'd been exposed to Napalm Death. I knew a girl who worked at a record company, and she had gotten this promo record and brought it home and said, look at this looks crazy. I put it on and said, holy shit, man, a short turntable on 45? Nope. No, that's just
the same experience.
Right. Speed dubbing. Yeah. But no, I think I made friends with a lot of those people, and those people wrote back very enthusiastically. It was kind of like a mutual appreciation society, which happened a few years later when I started writing people like Fenriz and the dudes from Norway. But I'm digressing or getting ahead of myself here. So I wrote Bill Steer because he had played in Carcass and Napalm Death, and he wrote back, and he was just super fucking cool. And holy shit, man, I can't believe you're right. I mean, I love SOD and Nuclear Assault. And of course, back then, saying you loved SOD, you had to be careful because in England, they already had cancel culture that they have here now. In other words, that UK hardcore scene was sometimes a little
stuffy.
Yeah, a little judgmental and
I noticed they were real stuffy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hypocritical too, because these are people who had been into like Repulsion and Autopsy a year ago, but now it wasn't cool or that was back burner. But the point being that I just made friends with a lot of those dudes because I got exposed to that music and I liked it a lot. And when I went there, I met all those dudes. They'd come backstage at our shows and say, "Here, man, have a T-shirt." And I go, "Cool." And then wear that shirt. And next time I made a photo session or something. And that's
yeah.
So
it just bloomed, and then maybe you heard like their demos or their first albums, and you were like, these were fans in a way first, right? And then next thing you know, it's like, here's my band, Carcass.
Yeah, pretty much, because a lot of those people in that UK grind scene, they came from the metal scene. Look at Shane Embry, perfect example.
Right.
You know, dude's always been a metalhead. He doesn't like all that. I shouldn't talk about that. He doesn't like that kind of judgmental, snobby shit that went on with a lot of that stuff. You know, he's just like, fuck it. Just fucking play some music, you know?
Yeah.
So,
he seems like a no-nonsense, fuck it, let's play some music guy anyway, so.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But
he seems like that type, which is cool. I like people like that, too.
Yeah, that's how I've always been. So, and that's how that whole thing... That's why.
And then you ended up on Earache too. You know, I noticed. I'm gonna just say this first before that. I noticed you were on what seemed like every underground death metal or thrash metal label. It felt like, because I have a little list here, and it was like Peaceville, Earache, Nuclear Blast, Relativity, Relapse, Megaforce. You were with the Johnny Z crew, Combat. Under One Flag Records. I mean, we were seeing that on our Metallica records.
Right.
And you were getting distribution with that, you know?
Yeah, because that was Under One Flag was a division of Music for Nations, which was the label that like Nuclear Assault would be licensed to in the UK.
Oh, I missed one. I missed one. But I noticed you were on so many different record labels, which is kind of, you know, it's not completely rare, but it's just like you covered the spectrum of like all the metal labels, you know?
Well, that probably has something to do with me having played in various different bands, and then even being in one band, switching labels once or twice. So yeah, I did end up. I mean, yeah, the music industry is the music industry, right? You know, I'm not. Yeah, it's a good thing I've been on 8 different labels or not, but.
All right, so yeah, bringing little snippets here to the party. I don't know what day it is. I guess it's Sunday now here in the East Coast, not in Saturday somewhere in Cali or something. I appreciate everyone that's tuning in, leaving comments. I don't care about all that, you know, be my friend, subscribe stuff. I mean, sometimes I throw it on the screen just if you want to share with your friends. I think it's cool to just share with like-minded metalheads. So, I do that with my friends. I mean, I don't know. So check this out. I'll add this here again. Did you find your tastes evolving over time? Because I did. Because I
fan of this stuff in order to be there. You know, like it wasn't like, oh, I want to go meet, you know, Kane Hodder, you know, and you're sort of dabbling in the horror thing, you know, like
it wasn't really about the vending at that show.
They had posters there, you know, but
it was about the Ruggero Diodato.
Yes, yeah.
You know, where you could ask questions and stuff.
Yeah. I remember Jim Van Beber was there. Yeah. He showed it was his finished cut at the time, you know, of Charlie's Family, I think at the time it was called, you know, and he was like, you know, he was out of his mind, either on drinks or pills or both.
Yeah,
or, you know,
I heard about that. I didn't get to see that, but I heard about that.
Yeah.
And then Killjoy was there.
Yes. At that time, I was already very friendly with Killjoy, and that was another draw. You know, he had...
It all goes back to Killjoy, man. What's up with that? That's cool, though. That's like it all goes back to Voivod. Check this out. This is with my man. Dude's many bands. Toured once in Europe?
Yeah, when we toured once in Europe, and then Yeah, really, Baz never really left the East Coast besides Europe. I don't think we even did any West Coast dates ever, honestly.
And the lineup on the Baz Euro tour was for you as a band. You had a member from a pretty known band, and you could tell me who you went with there.
So for the European tour, it was myself, Dave, aka Nyarlathotep, Morgul, aka Daryl, and then the guitar player that we had right before, because that was when we just recorded Sacraments of the Final Atrocity, and that was just about to come out. So the guitar player at the time, he bailed on the he bailed, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks before the tour, and then we were scrambling, and then Daryl and Dave knew Craig, and then Craig learned all this stuff. Yeah, he learned all
Craig Pillard joined the tour.
Yeah, he learned all the material in a couple of weeks, and then after that, he came on and filled in well. He learned the material real quick, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty proficient in learning a band, or he's been in so many bands, dude, over the years too. If you really look,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
it's weird. I was having a chat with a guy from Phlegm, and then I just happened to mention
being.
Yeah, you played this show with Putrefact. That's where I saw you. And I was like, oh, you don't even, you know what? You didn't even know. Craig was playing with Putrefact back at that show, and you played with him. He's like, what? Yeah, man. It's a small world in death metal, All right. So, that was an interview with Chris, who played in Abazagorath, Blasphematory, Disma, Mausoleum. He's a drummer. He is in other bands too. Cool guy, New Jersey head. I known him for 1,000 years. We had a chat, just talking black death metal. I mean, I'm into it, so just sometimes since I got on to doing these interviews with people, mostly I was hitting up people that I know, So, all right. Yeah. So some of the interviews are like just people I know, basically, it's death metal podcast is pretty much like unscripted, pretty much, I mean, maybe for Dan Loker, I had to look some things up because Dan Loker's like, his metal pedigree is like ridiculous, like the guy has like studio albums and like all these different things. The guy was writing Anthrax songs on albums that were like 3-4 albums into Anthrax, it looked like, from what I saw. So I don't know if they were still using his rhythms or what was happening. But yeah, so Dan Loker for me, and I was from New Jersey at the time when I met Dan, but for like a New Yorker or a New Jersey person, he was part of our scene, man. He was part of our crew. He was a death metal guy, just like me and you. He just hung around and went to underground shows. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, man. He was always a cool dude, man. I told him a long time ago, I was like, yo, you're the first person I saw wearing a Napalm Death shirt, This was before I heard Napalm Death, So it's a cool guy, I'll unleash the full video at some point. Just edit here and there. I figure I'd give a couple little teasers out on here and leave them on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. And basically I try to play some exclusives already, and there was a big F or fail. So I kind of started diving into some of these bizarre interviews I did with some of these cool people. I got a pretty weird one right here. This is a guy who is pretty unknown in a weird way. I'm just gonna play it, and I'm gonna move into it a little bit, and then check it out.
All right. I don't remember that. No.
And then a few minutes later, I saw, I'm not going to say who, but I saw the same person smashing a window of that same car with their fist.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit was nutty back then.
Yeah, and then right after that, I had seen a bunch of your friends, I think, and then I saw a bunch of bums come out, and it was like a gang war.
Yeah.
It was like there was some shit going down, like some of the stuff you said. I don't think I saw everything going on, but it was pretty wild, bro. Everybody was all fucked up.
Hell yeah. I remember that.
Well, I remember leaving. This is the funnier part. I remember going to leave. And then right as we were walking up the street, so it's like pretty, how the streets in New York City are pretty long. We're going up the street, and then all of a sudden, like, there's a bunch of cops in riot gear, and they're pulling out things to close off the street, like those big yellow barriers.
Oh,
and there was like literally people in fucking riot gear, like running down the street, like cops. And we just like went around the barrier. So were you there for that? For that?
Yeah, I don't remember the cops or any of that. I guess I bailed. I got out of there.
So what's up, people? What do you call it? This is Matt Harshner. He was a guitar player on the Mortician rehearsal demo, which is the earliest Mortician stuff. We speak, so we have some relatives or something, something with the Foxes, so we speak occasionally. Like the Kearney Death Crew and the Spring Valley Death Crew, we hung out a little bit here and there. Some of these guys also, I'm not saying I'm best friends with Matt or something, but some other dudes I am very good friends with from Spring Valley Death Crew, and for over 30 years, man. So that's cool to say that. And where'd you go, brother? He jumped off. You were good. Anyway, maybe he went to brush his teeth. So that was weird with just the two faces. I had a guest popping on. I don't know if he realizes he was about to go in. So yeah, I did this interview with Matt Harshner, who played an early form of Mortician with Matt Sitcher and Will Romer. They used to record. They recorded the rehearsal demo down Matt Sitcher's basement or whatever. So back in those days, Matt Harshner was the guitarist for Mortician. This was just a little before John McEntee from Incantation became the guitarist for Mortician and then played on the brutally mutilated Mortician 7-inch. So, all right, let me see what else I can bring up here for you weirdos. I got a good friend on here. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I played this. We're just going to move into it.
I guess how well the demo we did a 3-song demo, how well it was received, because we were just like, fuck it, let's just play something, let's just write some stuff, and it turned out okay. We had a Daniel Shaw end up doing vocals on it, and it turned out pretty...
And the artwork was phenomenal, man.
Yeah, of course. And it's weird. His artwork, if you don't know Daniel's
logo was phenomenal. The artwork is phenomenal. The band is phenomenal. It's like, damn, bro. I mean, you had like the perfect storm of everything at the same time, which is dope for the underground, you know?
Yeah, it was like I said, it was weird because we had zero like expectations, zero plans. Right. We just said let's just record a death metal demo.
That's even better. I mean, that's even fucking better. You were just like, you were so spontaneous with it. You just stepped up to the fucking plate and you're like, this is what, you know, we listen to this anyway. So boom. You know?
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, you know, let's do some fucking Cenotaph EP type, you know, fucking crematory demo, fucking, you know, just shit like that. You know what I mean? And
you guys stench of all of that, bro. So hard.
And it fucking worked out, you know. So we put that demo out, and it was put out on tape, on fucking 7-inch vinyl, on CD. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, you know?
It got legs of its own. I noticed.
Yeah, dude.
Like it just had gotten legs of its own, and then you kind of let it ride. You didn't hold. You know what I mean? You started getting international cats in on it.
Yeah,
you
dude,
got
everybody's
Mexico.
Yep. And you talk about the artwork, everybody's like, hey, man, can I print a shirt? There's people all over the place wanted to print a shirt, wanted to put that demo cover, like, on everything. I'm like, I mean, you did a flag for us, which turned out fucking great. And we're going to use that for shows, so we'll be promoting Necroharmonic during our shows.
It's all good, bro.
But anyway, so...
Sign to me, then.
Yeah. So
I wanted to ask. In the beginning, when you guys first did your first thing, I was going to ask immediately. Basically, I was going to be like, "Yo, could you sign with us, bro?"
Yeah,
but I was like, I don't know why. I just was just like, I don't know, man. I have a lot of commitments I already set up, so I'm just like, do I really want to take? Sometimes I did play, put out releases with more out playing bands, you know what I mean? Like bands that wanted to play live a bunch of times, tour, put out a bunch of releases. And I realized, I was like, I don't even know if this is really the scene for me, you know what I mean? These are not the type of releases I would normally put out, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it would have been great, you know, obviously, but so we did the demo. There's like, all in all, I think there's probably like 1,300 copies that were sold, which, you know, who I don't know if that's a lot or not, but to some people, but to me that's not bad. So
yeah, I think that's, you know, that's a good underground demo spread.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so from that we started getting all these offers just from this fucking 3-song tape that we did, and our buddy Clay from Rescued from Life in Texas is doing a split 7-inch with a band called Absconder from Chicago, which is Brad from Morgue, if anybody remembers Morgue. Yeah, Morgue. And then Clay is also doing a split LP with Leprophiliac.
All right, so yeah, that was Francisco from Cemetarian. We did an interview about Cemetarian, and I probably interviewed Francisco about some of his other bands too. I could interview Francisco for days, and me probably, because we were like that, you know. We tape traded. We traded as record labels, small record labels. You just connect with people over the years, and then it's bugged out how you stay friends with them. And I see some Texas people in the chat. What's up to everybody? I appreciate it. Texas giving big support to Death Metal Podcast. I appreciate it, bro. To everybody. I probably listen to everyone's demos, and yeah, Texas rules, man. I mean, Necrovore always been my favorite band anyway, so it's kind of bugged out. I've been friendly with a lot of people from Texas. Very cool. Yeah, let's bop around with Matt Harshner. Sometimes things are a little out of context, so sorry about that, guys. But check it out.
Matt Sitcher, myself and Matt Sitcher, and Will wrote all the lyrics and the bass lines, and me and Matt. It was just always me and Matt Sitcher playing drums and guitars. When Will came in, he wrote all the lyrics, and that's when those guys started getting serious. They wanted to,
Right.
We used to
What would you
jam
say
out
that like your influences were for guitar or
back in the day? Oh, back then, I loved old Destruction and Celtic Frost, Venom. I love old Venom, stuff like that.
right? And what about Matt? Because Matt was playing blast beats that were kind of a little bit faster than normal, basically.
Oh yeah, he was very fast. He was he
Yeah.
was very fast. No doubt about that.
And were you guys playing so loud that the cops would come by your house and say, like, shut that fucking music?
Not really. No, they never really bothered us over there. No, they didn't really fuck with us here and there, but not really. No, we were in the basement.
Yeah, that's cool.
They didn't really bother us. No.
Was there? Did you guys practice a lot before the rehearsal demo, or?
Not really. Not really. We just a couple of times. It's only a few times.
And you just was that rehearsal demo recorded with like some kind of 4-track or some kind of machine, or was that just like an open mic?
That was recorded on a little micro tape recorder. Her Matt Sitcher's brother recorded on a little micro tape recorder in the basement.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I don't think anyone knows some of this stuff, so that's why. That's also why I'm doing this, because people,
right.
That's like some origin shit there, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Then
especially
when I
considering the songs and the blasts and everything going on. Like, this is 1989. So what's good, Barrett? Switching it up a little bit.
Same
Check
shit.
this out. Yeah. What I'm trying to do a little more than maybe what my. I'm going to move into it a little piece. Okay. The background is just whatever I was looking at or playing that day. They're wimps. Has nothing to do with labels. It has nothing to do with Barrett's label. But check this out, man. This guy's cool. Been a long time friend of mine. His name is Barrett. He runs a label called Severed Records. Check it out. This right here, brother. Let it rap. You know that.
Oh, I'm there 2-3 times a week.
Shit. I mean, I don't know, man. Enough be said, man. That's all. That's the Bible in my mind to think of why so many people are failures. I don't want other small businesses to fail either. I like other small independent record labels.
Oh, me too.
Because I feel like they keep me in business too. And then if you are interchanging with them and trading and building relationships, then basically,
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I see that. I see a lot of collaborations that you do with other like small indie labels. I don't want to call them indie labels, but let's call it new labels.
New labels
with brutal music that you like and bands you like. So
like Maggot Stomp's a perfect example
about that. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, talk to me about like something like Maggot Stomp would be a newer version of that though. But what would be like a little bit back when you first started doing that?
Oh, like way back?
Yeah, let's see. The first things I saw you do was something with like Vicro Blast or something. Or am I wrong?
All from the Philippines?
Yes.
They no, I didn't do their release.
Collaborating? Yeah, but I thought you were collaborating with them at first. I'm not sure. Or
the label I was.
Or Singapore
I think
label.
The guy might have been doing that label. Virco Blast Production. VYKRO.
Right.
Like the guy who was in the band did that label. Yeah, I used to trade with him all the time. But I don't think we did any co-releases or anything.
So you remember what were like the early stage co-releases for you?
Let's see. The first one, I have a poster up here. The first one was actually with Meat 5000 Records from France. Okay. And he just recently, in the last year or two, jumped way back in head first again. He was gone for, I don't know, 8 or so years, maybe more. And now he's back, and I don't know, probably 40 new releases in the last year or two.
I remember the first incarnation of him, and then I've been seeing his name again recently, which is cool.
Yeah, he's doing a ton of stuff. We just did, he licensed the 2 Sarcophagy albums that I did.
Check this out. Back to this one. All right, I'm just gonna jump around because there's so many bands that these guys are in. It's like ridiculous.
Oh man. And honestly, the live in general, you just have a tendency to play faster. So yeah, we played all 3 songs for that live gig, which they went over well. But even the live gig was played a little faster than how we recorded it. Not much. I don't know. Some people.
I don't think I saw the new songs live. I saw an older song, the Oceana.
Chasm, right?
Chasm of Oceana. Is that how you say it?
I was learning the song. Yeah.
That's
bad
an
with
older song.
People's names.
That's an older song, right?
Right.
That's an older song. I recognize that older song.
But yeah, that was even they wanted it slowed down. So that was kind of
sure.
But it was it's slower, but live, it just tendency to want to play fast, and
well, I just had this conversation with Immolation the other day too, 2 days ago. They're in a studio recording, and I was asking them about the speed of the recordings. You know what I mean? I was like, do you guys get nervous and play faster? And they're like, Bob was, watch what I do next, basically. Fuck you, you know what I'm saying? Because I've always had that fuck you attitude. All those guys like Craig and
what a nut,
guys from Phlegm, and like they all became good friends, like the next year or the year after. So it was like kind of like, they didn't even know they were at the same show.
They were at the same exact show.
Yeah, they're playing the same show.
It's crazy.
It was cool, man. It was fucking totally crazy, dude.
Oh,
so
yeah.
After the tours and the Abazagorath, then you guys came home and basically did more studio records mostly.
Yeah, and Nihilist was singing at that time. He's on Sacrament. He was here from Seattle. He stayed in Jersey. He was living with Dave and Rob for a while.
And Nihilist was the singer of.
He was in Die Infernal. He was in. I can't even remember. What other bands was he in?
Shout out to Mike Nihilist.
Yeah, Nihilist I talk to every now and then still. Again.
Oh, cool.
He had a falling out not with me, really. But he was going to stay in Jersey, and he went the wrong way from Rob's house, and got jumped, and he took.
That. Shout out to Mike Nihilist. He got jumped. That sucked. Cool guy. So in the Bazagorath video, like we were just speaking like it is real, right? And real life is real life, So yeah, Mike was a good singer for Bazagorath too. He was awesome. Friends with the first singer. I don't know if he's the first singer, but there's a singer, Boris. He sang for Bazagorath. And he was a really cool singer. Maybe someday I can get Boris to come live with me. I don't know if he's living in Europe or I think he's like Surth Ungol's like best fan. Maybe he's in the band. I'm not even sure. Like he seems very close to that. So let's hop back into this pretty brutal, straight up Matt Harshner again. Okay, here we go.
In a public storage unit, and it got fucking auctioned off. So all my old demos, all that shit's gone.
I've heard that story not just from you, but from others too. That's happened many times.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend, the guy from Phlegm, and he got evicted from his apartment, and he had all the Phlegm masters and all the music and all the art and everything. He got evicted, and then he was climbing through the window to still live there.
Right.
They caught him. He got arrested. He went to jail. And then when he came back, they just put a dumpster next to the apartment. They just wiped out the entire apartment and just threw it in the dumpster, basically.
Yeah, that's what they do. Scumbags. Yeah.
Lost all his shit, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks because that shit is like a time capsule for like a time period that's gone.
Yeah,
it's
irreplaceable. You just can't get that shit back.
I hear you, man.
It's fucking, it sucks. It's fucking money and the greed factor in this world.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to keep a storage unit paid for too if you're whatever, you know?
Right.
Young.
Yeah, they auction it off. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
So over the years, though, I did see you, even though you weren't a Mortician, I would see you at a lot of shows, you know? And usually your crew, I would see at a lot of shows too, you know? Like I said, World Stage, I remember. Like I said, I've seen you guys in the city, seen you guys at fucking Staten Island, at Bolt Thrower.
Oh, sure.
I seen you at Obituary like 10 years ago.
Probably, yeah.
It was like, all right, you know, we were looking at each other like, I know you. Yeah. Matt Harshner there. Real underground dude. Not too many people know about him. He's almost off the grid, you know? It's bugged out. I mean, I'm going to do interview with Roger from Mortician. He's been blowing up a store out in Las Vegas, and he has a fest coming up too, where Mortician is playing. They're headlining with the Drum Machine as a Mortician set, and it's the first time they've ever played out with a drum machine, which is so cool. I mean, that's epic because they've always played out with a drummer, you know, or Raj played drums, etc. So they're playing out with a drum machine, a fest. They're gonna headline a fest in Las Vegas. So Raj has a store out in Las Vegas. Primitive Recordings. They got a release. This is one of their more recent releases right here. Let's check it out. It's like some cassette box sets with some ultra prints and it's like a 4 different releases right here just shown. I think there's even more. But check that out. That's on Primitive Recordings. So if anybody wants to hit me up, we can talk on here. My boy bailed on me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bailed on me, but it's all good because I'm not looking to have all guests on here either. I can shoot with talking about metal all the time, you know. So there was something I forgot to announce the other podcast here on Death Metal Podcast. There's a tour coming up, which I just got announced a day or two ago, and check it out. This is coming out. Incantation on tour with Nile and Sanguisugabog and I don't know that last one. It's weird I would know the Sanguisugabog one, but I don't know the last one, right? So this is coming for 2022 actually with Incantation. I'm sure guys and girls will go out and rep this. Totally cool dudes. Incantation. Sanguisugabog too. Really cool dudes. I figure I'd spread some tour news there if anyone didn't know about that. Just some info on Death Metal Podcast. So yeah, man. You can't read the logos. That's right, bro. They're getting a little crazy sometimes. So it's like, how do you know the name of the band if you don't know what the name says on the logo? You know, it's pretty wild. It always seems like it's been like that though for death metal. I mean, even in the earliest or death metal demos, I mean, you got ones that you couldn't read the logo almost, you know. So nothing new in that court. So check it out. I'll share something else with you guys. Let's see here. Stepping into the freak zone. Gotta maybe step away from these crazy interviews because some incriminating evidence could get. Not really, though, because there's nothing. We're just talking about metal. There's nothing out there that's, you know, so bad that it can't be talked about. So check it out. I'm going to play. This is kind of weird because this band, you know, I'm just going to play something random, but this band kind of joined the earache lineup, and they were the most bugged out band on there.
He took off.
Confessor. Listen to those vocals. Check those vocals. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Confessor, okay? So this band joins Earache Records, and they don't sound anything like Carcass, obviously. And I think they toured with some death or grindcore bands in Europe, maybe. It's such a rare and random band, right? Like, that demo was listened to by somebody and then put out on Earache Records, and literally like around or a little after the heyday of Earache, which is, no one really talks about the Confessor record. I thought it was really good, actually, way better than that demo too. And the drummer on Confessor was really, really good. I mean, you know, really good. I mean, it would be interesting to hear the drummer from Confessor to play in a death metal band. I would like to see that. I mean, for Confessor, though, their vocal style always stayed in the same, you know, high doom. I mean, even worse than what not worse, but different than what I just played. You know, the Confessor demo, which I know pretty well. I guess I don't know too good, but you have the songs like Uncontrolled, and the guy is just screaming out his lungs, you know? Like, you think Merciful Faith screaming out his lungs, you know? I mean, when you hear the guy from Confessor, you start reevaluating, you know, what screaming lungs is. So let's check out something else here. Yeah, I don't want to play certain things, which is weird, right? I just don't know. I don't want to play anything too crazy for you guys, you know? There's just little pieces of things that I can play, think that are cool, you know? I just have to move into this piece. All right, ready?
Yes. You know, he was not like, he was not an easygoing dude, and he was kind of like just a plain up dick, you know?
A little rough around me. Find out more. Just put this down here.
Yeah.
It's all a test, bro. When I was younger, and his grandfather worked for one of those companies.
Nice.
And he had wrestling figures of some of those things that I had never seen before in my life, dude. That I don't even think they were out at the moment. They had come out right afterwards, though. But I was like, whoa, you know, like we went to the dude's house. The grandfather, and he had these figures, and I'm like, whoa, like what are those ones?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, which was cool.
You know, do you do commissions? You know, do you have original art? And some of these guys, even though they're working for smaller releases or smaller publications, their art is still, especially like in the case of like a Matt Putrid, you know, his art is unbelievably detailed. You know, it's like it's got like a masterful touch, you know. And
yeah, definitely.
I would love to, you know, and so I really got into the mode of collecting, you know, pieces, getting original pieces, you know, and it would be fun to tell the guy like I had Putrid do like a piece that was inspired by almost like Nazi horror movies, you know. So he's got like Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS, he's in there. He's got Zombie Lake, you know, Shockwaves, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Beast
and
of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Those
and
crazy ones, or just yeah, there was some bug
yeah. And it was fun, you know. So it's fun to put those things together, you know. And for the most part, dealing with the artists are.
We were talking about movies there, so don't take anything out of context. I know you guys watch some of those crazy horror movies, so don't take anything out of context there. Talking about drawing zombies. I know sometimes people are a little sensitive nowadays. You know, but I mean, I think I could watch whatever movie I want to watch. So check this out. This is a weird one. I don't know. I'm just gonna show this like random piece or two. It's not too weird. It's awesome. It's with my friend from Ceremonium. His name's Oscar, and we'll talk about Ceremonium. And you were able to maintain that when you went to the studio, because you know what? There's a lot of bands that do the complete opposite. They go into the studio, they get nervous, and then they start recording a song. They're regular ass songs, just a little too fast because they're feeling a little. Why is this some kind of thing for me? I care about how fast the album is recorded. There's probably a good example of that, which would be the first Archival record.
About being in the band, bro. How I met back in, you know, obviously in Patterson, man. I met Vic through Paul from Deteriorate. I used to go to high school in the same high school that Paul and Vic used to go to, but they dropped out. I finished my high school, but they dropped out. So, you know, obviously we met, I think a year, probably I graduated high school, and then I think within like a month, well, it was actually very weird how I got into like, wow. If I take it back, Roy, man, I take it back to Panama, bro.
Let's save that.
You want to save that
for the
because
real shit? Yeah. Save Panama. I know what we're going to talk about. There's a band that are called Horko Mostropo, who was one of Oscar's old favorites. You know, we dig deep into the vaults of horror, man, and death metal sometimes. So let's go back to Oscar for a minute. Check it out. Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
You know what I got, Roy? I have the Bathory, bro. I've been wanting to talk to you about this. Can we talk about this Bathory yellow?
The Bathory Yellow Goat probably wants to talk to me. I remember I lived with Oscar, and he had a Bathory record, and for some reason his dog ate it or whatever, and he had a pit bull, and I tried to go and maybe I was trying to retrieve Oscar's records. I think I was just trying to clean up after the dog because, you know, you try to just clean up after a dog or whatever. And the dog attacked me. And I didn't laugh, but I thought it was weird that he ate Oscar's Bathory record, you know. Sometimes dogs like Bathory, I guess, you know. Like, I don't know why they eat the records, but you know, when a dog eats your yellow Bathory record, you know you definitely are, you know, you probably don't want to get rid of that dog.
A minute. I don't want to move it because I don't want to mess it up.
No, don't move it. Just bring.
Is that better, Roy?
Yo, that is way better, homie. I'm trying to get his cat on. I don't even.
Did I tell you what happened to him?
Brandon up. We probably took the train.
There he is. There he is.
Canuck. Yeah, he's cute.
Canuck. Don't go crazy.
He's like, what's up?
Nah, he's going to want to knock that down.
Yeah, that's a regular occurrence at your house. I take it.
Bro, this guy's like Canuck.
Yo, I
Come
got
on,
some.
bro.
Hey. Welcome to real life. There you go, Canuck. He wants to knock the sign down. He's a Hellraiser like his owner. So this is Death Metal Podcast. I'm at about an hour and a half right now. I did two full live streams on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube today. This is the second one. I did a little more showing of the interviews in this one. I have a lot of interviews lined up with people. It is difficult to find time for people to talk for hours, obviously. It's difficult for me to find time to talk for hours. This podcast thing or talking on the internet, I mean, you can do it for so long, or, you have nothing to talk about and then you are not even worth listening to, basically. So I guess it's either one or the other for most people, I just try to share some of the stories and the things that I saw with my own eyes or places that I've been with my own feet, sometimes some of the conversations I get into people we get a little, weird with this one, don't like this one, or, somebody says something illegal, so like, I don't want to put that out there. Like, that doesn't happen. That rarely happens though. But, so check out, let's throw Doc Holocaust back on again. Let's see if I can find his death metal part. Check it out. Shout out to Doc Holocausto. Halloween's coming and he's mad ready, way ahead of everyone. I wish I could match his Halloween brutality. I love Halloween. I love fall. This is the fall metal of death extravaganza. If anybody wants to come in and knows me on Facebook or something, send me a DM and I'll throw you a request, and then you can go live on Death Metal Podcast. Maybe we can antagonize each other, or maybe we can play Unleashed demos. Let's go with the
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially, I'm sure then,
met some of my friends. Yeah, I don't ever think I would have met some of my friends if I didn't do shit like that,
Yeah. No, I'm too introverted by nature, like.
Yeah. I don't think you're completely introverted.
Not completely. I'm better than I was like when I was like 20 years ago, but
Yeah, because you show what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
More than I do. So
yeah.
You're not.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. It's that's different. It's a different, now that we have these medias to do that, which is cool too,
Yeah.
It's bugged out. Remember when we used to go to all those horror conventions and shit? I know you probably might still be going to those.
We haven't been, because of the pandemic and everything, needless to say, all that stuff's out. People will still try to have a horror convention, but it's in the parking lot of like a convention center or a hotel under the hot sun on the blacktop. And I'm not looking to sweat bullets on top of like posters. I'd rather just stay at home. But those really, like the first Chiller Theater, I had got, maybe a CD, and he said, I love this story. It was called Say You Will Love Satan, Yule. It was like a Christmas time story of all things. He says, oh, I love this so much. I want to use it for my directorial debut, and this is like 1999, just to give us some time, time frame. And then we just wrote back and forth, and whenever my wife and I would travel to places like horror locations, we would get like a dirt sample, like from Edgar Allan Poe's grave, H.P. Lovecraft's grave, like the Dawn of the Dead locations, and I would put them in little bottles and I would just send them out. And it was kind of like a little, like either the buddies, like the 44 Ward guys or whoever, you know, I probably sent some to Killjoy, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we would just write back and forth. And
he was your kid. He was like a kindred spirit, basically. You
Yeah.
met another kindred spirit, and you're like, you felt like these connections that are just. It's weird because you meet these kindred spirits through the years. You might not know them for very long, and it's like the kindred spirit comes out so fast that it's like,
true.
whoa, it's so cool, man. You know,
it's really true, you know,
because amazing part of life.
We had like probably from that point, like say 1999 through 2004, right when they were like doing these small national tours, we would talk like every other week, every month. You know, I would call him. First, he used to work at a hospital in like the shipping department. I would call the hospital and we would talk like during his night shift, you know, and we talked for like an hour or two. Just about like, he would tell me about what he was doing, like some ideas he had, you know.
Oh, and I was at the hospital. He was shipping out like pieces of bodies.
Yeah. You know, and
he was talking about his ideas though.
Yeah.
His band ideas. His band ideas. Let's get this straight.
Yeah, no, that's for a while there, like probably by 1994, just to go down a list. Okay. The one thing that actually like happened, I would say, you know, and there was like one or two, you know, things was, he wanted me to write a screenplay for him that was going to be his directorial debut. And that came to be Harvest Ritual.
All right. So I think we left off there last time. So yeah, that's my man, Doc Holocausto. He did write the Harvest Ritual for Killjoy, and it was never developed. I remember Killjoy well too, and I remember him doing some kind of collaboros with Coffin Joe, which I thought was so cool. I was bigger into the horror scene and collecting than I am now. So I feel like a poser if I talk about new stuff. I only am into certain eras, you know, 70s, 80s, 60s. You know, so I don't really know too much past those times. For horror or the Netflix generation of horror, I'm not familiar with any of that at all. I still buy VHS tapes, you know, DVDs, you know, like, you know, I collect the rare, you know, whatever I think looks rarer and different, you know, like I mean, I'll collect death metal demos too, obviously. But you know, sometimes I'm on a horror kick, you know, and I figured I would bring that to the podcast because I think a lot of people have similar tastes to me, maybe. You know, obviously my man, the Doc, he has similar tastes to me, and there's many others that are like us. So, you know, the army of gore fans out there or horror geeks, I don't care. You know, I'm proud to have loved all the Lucio Fulci movies, and you know, I even went out of my way for like the most rare and, you know, the ones where the guy has a trumpet out, for Christ's sake. Like, I didn't stop at any specific area to say like, all right, I'm done with Lucio Fulci now. You know, it's like The Beyond and The Gates of Hell and all the good, you know, classics obviously are classics, but he had a whole, you know, additional catalog. And then once you explore it, I mean, he has amazing movies, and one in particular too that over the years no one even seems like to talk about is like this movie called Contraband. And it's like an Italian mob kind of smuggling route thing, but really good plot, gory, like just off the wall, like car chases, you know, like I love stuff like that, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit around and watch Chips, but I'll watch some Italian gore film where a car chase, you know, like wipes out a gang of people or whatever, or, you know, like, you know, a bunch of motorcycle gang freaks go off. So I appreciate everyone that's in the chat. So yeah, you missed Dan Loker, brother. There will be a replay. Maybe I'll send a special Dan Loker part out to my boy here. Let's see here. We'll go back into the Chamber of Sorrows over here. So yeah, Lucio Fulci, the master. Let me see here. So it's gonna start at the front, but I'm gonna just move into it. Classic. You in the Norwegian black metal or so too, wasn't there? Like, I'm sure Nuclear Assault also played like We don't want to talk about that one.
The last tour with Nuclear Assault in Europe, I had already decided, dudes, I'm leaving the bands. I was just offered this Campaign for Musical Destruction tour that's coming up in a month. So I'm going to do these dates because I'm a professional and I'm going to honor my commitments. But after that, I'm done. And Nuclear Assault did a small run in Europe under those circumstances.
You. What up, what up, what up, what up? So, yeah, that was Cenotaph. Obviously, you guys love it. I know. Do I have a guest coming in here, or is that just some blank-ass screenish? Find out in a second. So thanks for everyone that's been coming on and watching. Let's see what else I can share here. I got a couple little weirdos here. I was having a major fail earlier, as usual, to try to play audio from a couple other devices. I mean, it's a learn as you go situation, I guess. I don't really care too much, so I'm not going to make just trying to podcast or whatever we're doing, just putting the music out there, and I'm glad people listen to the same music I listen to, which is dope. I notice on YouTube, you got to be really careful what you play, and even if it's the most rare thing you played ever, they tell you that this is monetized in some way, shape, or form, which is, you figure that out quickly, though. So check this out, though. I was talking about this. We were talking about this band the other day. They're called Nauseant, and they're brutal. Now I'm going to be trying to bring some stuff like this up in the future. This is going to be a little raw form, obviously. This was a recording I got done. I had a help of the members of the band do, and this was a rehearsal session they had before they were playing some shows. And this was recorded in my hometown of Kearney, New Jersey, which is cool. Here we go. Check this out. There's some pretty brutal.